Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And today, a little different than yesterday, we saw lots of bright blue sunshine. Today, cloud cover throughout north central Washington. Thought it might be beginning to snow about mid-afternoon or so. It just didn't happen that way, but we still do expect some snow showers as we take a look down at the Columbia River from our Omi Garden Sky-Fi Tower camera, looking the other direction up the Columbia towards Rocky Reach Dam, and just a light skip of snow on the mountaintops around here. And we do have more snow on the way. In fact, a good chance of it. In fact, winter storm warnings for the areas in pink, and that includes, of course, Snoqualmie Pass just to the west of there and also into northeastern Washington state, and especially the panhandle of Idaho, which could pick up about 10 to 12 inches of snow. Not so much here for the Wenatchee area. We could see a rain-snow mix, and then after that moves through overnight, we could see some windy conditions. We did have a high wind watch initially posted this morning for midnight tonight. That has since been canceled this afternoon. But don't forget, we still could see some pretty high winds. In fact, wind gusts in Wenatchee could top about 30 to 35 miles an hour, and even stronger than that in areas around the Waterville Plateau. So be careful. It will be windy tonight and some wet weather on the way as well. We'll talk more weather coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Link Transit's regular free First Friday service on February 1st will feature music and poetry. And a 4-week road closure began this week in Ephrata to replace an aging sewer line. We'll tell you where that is. But first, we begin tonight. An 18-year-old Wenatchee High School student has been arrested on cyber stalking charges after allegedly harassing other students on Twitter. Evan S. Anderson is accused of using the Twitter account @WenatcheeE or Wenatchee Exposed to taunt students. That included making fun of a boy who had committed suicide, saying he would not be allowed into heaven but sent to hell. In addition, a video was posted on Twitter about a pair of Wenatchee High School siblings implying they were in a sexual relationship. The video claimed that one of the siblings had raped the other. The mother of those students reported the video to Twitter, who refused to take it down. Wenatchee Police Department Captain Edgar Reinfeld says law enforcement began investigating this case back in November.
So the report came from a parent, the parent of the two siblings in the first video mentioned, called concerned, and initially felt like nothing was really being done about it. These are difficult cases at best. As noted in our press release, there's no actual identifying information used to create the account except for an email address. We can note that email addresses rarely take anything to actually establish those either. And so we have these often dead ends in these cases. In this case, as the patrol officer continued investigating, she found additional information, including a Snapchat account that was tied to this Twitter account and numerous other videos and photos and other things that were being used to roast the students at Wenatchee High School. And this roasting deal is not, it's not harmless. As we can see here, people are really upset by this, and should have been. These terrible things being said about these students, or being implied about these students, that led to major concerns. And so officers continued working on this and served a search warrant on Twitter that was still unable to provide anything other than an email address and no name, but did have an IP address that was consistently used. And the officer was able to then serve another search warrant for the IP address from the internet service provider, which determined it belonged to an address here in Wenatchee. And from there, we were able to identify the suspect, working with the school resource officer and the school district, obviously accessing whose address is this, what students are there, because it really appeared to be a student, and found indeed that it was Mr. Anderson, who was arrested yesterday. We also conducted a service search warrant on the physical residence to retrieve the computer and an iPod that were used to create and post the videos. I don't know if it's going to be that difficult to prosecute in this case. We have a solid track here of the IP address being used. We have at least a partial confession. We have all the things we need to prosecute this one. And this happens to be a misdemeanor. It's not a felony in this case, though it can be a felony. It just isn't here. But the important thing in this is the lesson that parents need to be watching what their kids are doing online as much as possible, and need to realize that so much of this stuff is done anonymously. The arrested person person here, Anderson, was doing this with anonymity and of free will, and was, it's commonly called trolling. It's called a lot of things, but realistically, he's out there stirring up all this trouble online that's creating real-world problems for the students who are being identified as being somehow terrible or committing terrible acts at school and are just miserable. And again, we see these cases. We hear over and over and over the school bullying issues leading to suicide or homicidal violence. And this is no different. You don't have to be in somebody's face, shoving them, calling them names, doing things physically to them. You can tear apart a life with your behavior online just as easily as you can in person.
Live music on the bus by folk musician and Wenatchee resident Tom Cushing goes along with Link Transit's regular free First Friday service on February 1st. Poet Susan Blair recites poetry between Cushing's sets on the current B route starting at 5:45 p.m. Free service begins at 4 p.m. on all First Fridays on routes 1, 5, 7, 8E, 8W, 11, and 12. The tours and live music are a collaborative effort between Link Transit and the First Friday Arts Walk. All tours begin and end at Columbia Station and feature a brief workshop highlighting Link's fixed route service. Each month features a unique cultural experience and a chance to win fun prizes. To reserve a spot on the bus, call Selena Danko at 509-664-7624. Well, a heads up tonight for you folks living in Ephrata. A 4-week road closure began this week on Division Street from B Street southeast to Ivy Street northeast in town to replace an aging sewer line. The city of Ephrata says detour routes will be in place 24 hours a day during the duration of the project to replace 1,400 feet of sewer line that dates back to the 1940s. The 80-year-old sewer line that serves over 700 residents experienced blockages in 2008, 2010, and 2017. Another blockage was discovered last week. Whenever possible, the city asks that drivers use Enterprise Avenue Southeast on the port to avoid residential neighborhoods. Coming up next, right here on the NCWLIFE Evening News, beginning tomorrow, the Wenatchee School District will be offering opportunities for stakeholders to provide input into the process of balancing the district budget for 2019-2020. And voters in the Waterville School District will be deciding on 2 short-term school levies next month to make up for funding shortfalls. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job. I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you.
Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
Everything we do is about delivering very high quality care and keeping our patients safe.
We really work as a team here, and so that's really what makes it worthwhile.
I give 100% every day, and I do that because I work for a company that I believe gives 100% back to me.
The bottom line is we genuinely care about our employees.
it is the most incredible place to work, and you will be inspired every day.
Antique Mall at Cashmere wishes you a happy and prosperous new year. With 15,000 square feet to explore, Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone. For repurposing projects, do-it-yourselfers, and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, this is the place to find your next project. Antique Mall at Cashmere, their friendly staff is here to help you. Stop on by today.
Welcome back. In another news, the Wenatchee School District will be offering opportunities for stakeholders to provide input into the process of balancing the district budget for 2019-2020. The Wenatchee School District faces an estimated $5.2 million budget deficit. 3 public informational meetings will be held January 23rd, 24th, and 29th at Wenatchee High School. The meetings will include a presentation on factors impacting the budget, a Q&A time, and link for an online survey. Public comment will not be taken at those meetings. The purpose of the online survey is to gather input from various stakeholder groups to identify district priorities that will be used to guide budget adjustments for 2019-2020. The first informational meeting on January 23rd runs from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Voters in the Waterville School District will be deciding on 2 short-term school levies next month, a 1-year replacement educational and operations levy and a 2-year capital levy. Waterville school officials say the new school funding formula adopted by the state legislature had unintended consequences, including a capped rate for school levies, which hurt small rural school districts. Because of the reduction in funds, the district this year cut 2 teaching positions and 5 non-teaching staff positions, reduced administrative staff by a half a position, and did not fill the music instruction post. The 2 levies combined would cost property owners $2.50 for every $1,000 of assessed value. That's about $625 a year for the owner of a $250,000 home. Ballots will be mailed out this week, and the measure needs a simple majority to pass. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. For the last 4 years, Wenatchee native Sherritt DeLong has driven the same mail delivery route up Highway 97. Making stops in Chelan, Brewster, Malott, and Okanagan, DeLong is sharing his quiet and lonely moments on the road as paintings that memorialize early morning scenes so beautiful he couldn't bear to pass. His work is now hanging at the Wenatchee Valley College Mac Gallery for February's First Friday.
I'm Sherritt DeLong. I grew up here in Wenatchee. I have always been interested in the arts and always made art. My painting style, I'm really influenced by a lot of the painters in America and Europe up through the turn of the century, up until perhaps like the 1930s. I like their fascination with that question of beauty and finding beauty in the everyday. I got a job driving for the post office as a postal contract driver. It was always very, very early in the morning and often really beautiful. Eventually, I just was driving only the Highway 97 route, and which I still think is a very beautiful drive, because I would always see the sun come up, and the repetition of the experience drew out a lot of my favorite places. I never had in mind that I was going to do a show. I was just painting these places for their own sake, and kind of honoring just the everyday things I would see in my own life. The weather and the light, and it would all line up in this amazing way that would inspire me and bring me a sense of assurance and beauty and comfort on these lonely drives that, and lonely is the best way I could describe them. There were these moments that I thought were inspiring and almost like gifts in themselves, and I would take photos, I would sketch them, and I never had a whole lot of time to do that because I was on a schedule to deliver the mail in bulk to these small towns. I was always on the road during the transition moments of night and day, mornings and evenings. All the elements that combine to make that moment aren't going to be the same again. And you do experience some level of regret for not pausing and appreciating it. I hope they experience some of that quiet beauty that I experience. And I hope they can look at my work and have their own thoughts as they stare at the scenes the way I had my own thoughts when I was captured by these scenes to begin with. Most of these images are from the vantage point in the driver's seat of a truck that's pretty high off the ground. I drove this route so many times. The repetition itself, like in the recursive nature of it, is something that perhaps people might not be quite so aware of. A lot of the people that already live here can re-experience this area. We tend to take everything we're around every day for granted, and it's a completely natural process. But there are many constant moments of beauty that occur in all of our everyday lives. And I've been very grateful for my job, and it's really put me through the experience of being a morning person. I never thought I would see so many sunrises.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. But before we get to those details, let's take a look outside our weather window. This is our Omi Garden Sky-Fi Tower camera. Usually we have it pointed back towards Wenatchee and show you a great view of the Wenatchee Valley, East Wenatchee and Wenatchee. Today we pointed it the other direction, and you can see Rocky Reach Dam off in the distance and lots of cloudiness out there. And I know what else stands out, at least to me, not much snow on the hills. Here we are January 22nd, and we haven't had a lot of snow that at least stuck around very long anyway, just a couple of snowstorms this season so far. But that should change as we move through tonight and into tomorrow with more precipitation on the way. We'll tell you about that in a second. But high today, not quite as nice as that 43 degrees yesterday, but it still was a decent day today. 37 our high temperature this afternoon. That's about where we should be for this time of year. 36 is our normal high temperature. We started off at 30, just slightly above where we should be at 26. Our record high for the second day in a row was back in 2011. Today's record at 50. Record low 1969 at 6 below zero. A little over 7/10 of an inch of moisture is what we have seen so far since January 1st. And our sunrise, it's getting a little bit earlier now at 7:38, sunset later at 4:47. Now let's show you what we can expect over the next 4 or 5 days, beginning tonight at 10 o'clock. We do have an 80% chance of snow. I think it'll be a snow-rain mix tonight as moisture wrapping around this area of low pressure continue to swing through Washington State. We will see some windy conditions. We did have a high wind watch in effect for us for midnight. That was canceled, but we'll still see plenty of winds even tomorrow morning between 15 and 30 miles an hour. Most of this system will move over us and into eastern Washington and the panhandle of Idaho and then into Montana by late in the day on Wednesday. But by Wednesday afternoon, we'll see decreasing clouds, mostly sunny skies, less wind as well, and we'll see temperatures in the lower to mid 40s on Wednesday. For Thursday, not bad either. We transition to our cloud map because really no precipitation will affect us over the next few days. Partly cloudy, calm and mild on Thursday as two areas of high pressure build a nice dome, a ridge over the top of the Pacific Northwest, and that will make for a beautiful end to our work week on Friday, 2 o'clock, mostly sunny and mild. Once again, temperatures above normal to end the weekend, and we'll stay that way right through the upcoming weekend too. Saturday, still that dome of high pressure over us, bringing us mostly sunny skies. Each morning, we could see a little bit of fog, especially here in the Wenatchee Valley. It should burn off late in the mornings each day. Sunday, we'll start off with a little bit of that fog, then mostly sunny skies and lots of clear skies all over central and eastern Washington right through the upcoming weekend, and things look nice past that into Monday as well. Let's take a look now at your quick lube and tune forecast. Tonight will drop down to a very mild 33 degrees. Remember, we will see some precipitation tonight. I really don't think we're going to see any accumulation of snow now. This system has kind of been downgraded with that wind cancellation, but we will still see some wet stuff late tonight and into our overnight. 45 for our high tomorrow after some wind in the morning, then mostly sunny skies. 41 for Thursday, partly cloudy and mild. Lots of sunshine as we end the work week on Friday with 43 degrees. 32 pretty much our overnight low for the next 4 or 5 days. And then as we kick off our weekend on Saturday, we'll see some morning fog and then sunshine by afternoon and 41. Also some fog on Sunday, mostly sunny in the afternoon with 42 for our high temperature. Monday's weather to kick off our next work week, very nice. Sunshine and mild temperatures with highs then near 40. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
A sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday, and if you're a Seattle Mariner fan, it is a very happy Tuesday. Edgar Martinez is a Hall of Famer. Major League Baseball announced the 2019 induction class earlier today. The class includes Mariano Rivera, Roy Halladay, Edgar, and Mike Mussina. Those coming up short included Roger Clemens, Curt Schilling, and Barry Bonds. It was Edgar's final chance to get in, and if you're a Mariner fan, he deserved it, if only for one at-bat in 1995.
They would love a base hit into the gap, and they could win it with junior speed to stretch. And the 0-1 pitch on the way to Edgar Martinez. Swung on and lined down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my. Edgar Martinez with a double. Ripped down the left field line, and they are going crazy at the Kingdome.
Gives me tingles every time. Congratulations, Edgar Martinez, a Hall of Famer. Eastmont girls soccer coach Erin Riddall is stepping down from the position to concentrate on being a mom. On her Facebook account yesterday, Riddall announced her retirement. She said, quote, "As every chapter ends, a new one begins. After 12 years, 3 teams, hundreds of players, 9 playoff runs, a district title, trip to state, and Coach of the Year honor, I made the impossibly difficult decision to retire as head coach of the Eastmont girls soccer program. This program has been part of my life for 16 years, last 20 years. 16 of the last 20 years, that is, playing for 4 and coaching for 12. it is being left in the hands of the players who care more about each other than they do about wins, end quote. Riddall announced back in December that she and her husband, Brandon, were expecting their first child. She added in her announcement yesterday, quote, "When I feel the kicks inside my growing belly, I know I'm making the right choice. It's time for me to try out this whole mom thing," end quote. Congratulations and best of luck to Erin Riddall. Wenatchee girls bowling team was battling earlier today at Eastmont Lanes. Now, Wenatchee had a chance to wrap up sole possession of the Big Nine regular season title with a win today. They'll host district tournament Friday at Eastmont Lanes. In addition, Eastmont girls bowling team on the road at Minda Lanes facing Davis. Also on the prep schedule for today in wrestling, it is a double duel in Okanagan where Chelan, Cashmere, and Cascade will all do battle beginning at 6 o'clock. Tonight here on the NCW Life channel, I'll be mat side at Eastmont as Wenatchee comes to make a call. We'll start that at 7 o'clock. Quite a slate of high school basketball around the area. We'll start it off on the girls prep schedule. Cashmere traveling to Omak in Caribou Trail League play. It's Okanagan at Chelan, Warden at Cascade. B basketball tonight, Entiat hosts Cascade Christian, while Liberty Bells at Manson. On the boys basketball schedule, looks the same but different start times. The Caribou Trail League season is winding down with Cashmere at Omak, Chelan's hosting Okanagan, and Warden traveling to Leavenworth to take on Cascade. Each of those games start at 7:15, 7:30, Cascade Christian at Entiat, while Manson hosts Liberty Bell. A reminder of our NCWLIFE sports broadcast schedule for the week. As we mentioned, it's wrestling tonight at 7. Hockey night Thursday features last Friday's Wenatchee Wild game against the Trail Smoke Eaters. Then on Friday, our cameras and crew will be courtside at Wenatchee High School as the Panthers host Sunnyside, and a basketball doubleheader with the girls first at 5:30. The boys will follow at 7:30. The Wenatchee Wild continue its 8-game homestand tomorrow night with a game against the Merritt Centennials. Merritt comes into town sitting just in front of Wenatchee in the BCHL's interior division with 57 points, while the Wild have 56. Penticton has raced out to a big lead with 63 points, which is second only to Chilliwack, 65 points to lead the entire league. The puck drops tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. It's also dollar, beer, and hot dog night until the end of the first admission. Well, that's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCW Life channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with your host, Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
The NCW Life channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's Learn, Guada TV, Street Talk and Other Stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life channel is your local TV station.
There's no substitute for the power of cable TV advertising. With Solion Cable TV Advertising, you can reach your target audience right here in North Central Washington. We understand their viewing habits and can precisely target your customers on great cable networks like these. Call Solion Broadcasting today and let us show you how to put your business message right in front of thousands of prospects at a very affordable price. Solion Broadcasting, 509-888-2020.
I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We got news, we got sports, we got weather, we got obscure holiday today in history and birthdays. Those actresses from the 70s that I had a huge crush on: Lindsay Wagner, Jane Russell, Meryl Streep, Barbara Bush. Wanted to wish her a happy birthday. It gave me an excuse to throw her picture up on my show. Exclusive distributors of Life Water, now available in the shatterproof plastic bottle.
Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, mornings at 7 o'clock on the NCW Life channel.